both Azimio One Kenya Coalition Party and the Kenya Kwanza Coalition have their running mates ready. Both the presidential candidates of Azimio and Kenya Kwanza have settled on who will deputize them. And even if the date was not pushed forward, they could have still presented the names. But they are waiting until the last day, until the last minute, because they are playing a very dangerous card with that position for each other. And it's the deputy president who is playing the most dangerous card with that position. For example, if Azimio chooses Kalonzo, for example, to become the running mate, the deputy president will just go to Western and pick the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi to come and deputize him. And that way he's going to increase his chances in Western. If he was to get maybe 30%, he can just now raise it to 50%. Because giving Musalia that position can ignite and bring more people to his side. And if Azimio were to drop Kalonzo and pick somebody else, the Kenya Kwanza presidential candidate can poach Kalonzo from Azimio and give him a certain position, or even just offer him that deputy position. You know? And Kalonzo has been preparing the ground. He's been preparing his supporters for any eventuality. You know? So anything is possible. And on the Kenya Kwanza side, there is less noise. Anybody who is given that position, there won't be a lot of disagreements, a lot of noise, as it is in the Azimio side. On the Azimio side, there's a lot of ambitious people who really need this position. And if it goes somebody else, it can just cause some commotion in Azimio. So that is the game that is being played. And that's why each side is waiting for the other to announce first. And before I support the names that I have suggested, let me allow you, viewer, to subscribe. Just press the subscription button and also the notification bell. 3 seconds. Thank you. Thank you. The deadline for naming the running mates is Monday, 16th May. And they have up to 11:59 p.m. And these two teams are going to wait to the very last minute on Monday to present. Nobody will even present today, Saturday, or tomorrow, Sunday. They'll wait until the last day, at the very last minute, before they present that name. Secondly, the two presidential candidates are not searching for the deputy president of Kenya. What they are looking for is the running mate. And that person will just be the deputy president of Kenya because they were chosen as the running mate. Because if they were really looking for the deputy president of Kenya, regions will not matter, tribe will not matter, What will matter is just a person with a clear vision, or a person with a clear policy for this country. It won't matter which region you are coming from. But because they are not looking for the Deputy President of Kenya, the person who will be chosen as the running mate will become the Deputy President of Kenya. And there are things to consider when we are looking for a running mate. Number one, votes. Which block is this person bringing to my side if I choose him or her as the running mate? So the person who comes from the vote-rich region, or a person who controls a big block of people, you know, that's a very suitable running mate for a presidential candidate. Another factor is the kind of image that running mate is going to bring to your side. You know, if you choose somebody who is known for reforms and human rights, you attract a certain group of people to your side, and your ticket is being, perceived to be a good ticket, and you attract even fans. People can just come and contribute to your campaign kitty, depending on the image that your ticket presents. Another thing that they look for is somebody with the financial muscle. You know, if you're a presidential candidate, you want to choose a running mate with a financial muscle who can, you know, pump something to your campaign kitty. Another thing is loyalty. You want to bring somebody to become your running mate, a person who is loyal, who you believe can be loyal to you. We have just seen how the deputy president and the current president have worked. Nobody wants to choose somebody who is too ambitious, you know. They want somebody who can be loyal, who you can advise and they obey those advice. You instruct and they obey those instructions. So those are the major things that a presidential candidate will look for in a running mate: loyalty, financial muscle, image that you are presenting, and the block that you are coming with. You know? And after we have now identified these things, we can now throw out in the names and see if they meet these requirements. Let's start with the Azimio side. They are the ones who have a whole lot of group of people who are interested in this position. Starting with Sabina Chege. Well, he's coming from a vote-rich region. Maybe he doesn't control that region, but he comes from a vote-rich region. The image he's carrying with the young tax image of maybe the youth and everything. In terms of loyalty, she looks like somebody who can be loyal. She doesn't look like somebody who is too ambitious. And in Azimio side, fund is not so much a problem, you know. So she fits the bill. Let's go to the second person, Martha Karua. She comes from a vote-rich region. The image that she brings is also a good image of somebody who is pro-reforms, you know, and she's also a lady. That can also attract maybe the women to the ticket that she's likely to join. Loyalty, on that loyalty test, there's a problem with Martha Karua. She looks like somebody who is usually too principled, that she cannot just take instructions. If she doesn't believe in what you are saying, he will tell you. He will tell you, I don't believe in what you are saying. And if she's not willing to drop that ambition or thought that she has, she will go on with it. Even if you are the president, he'll tell you, no, for me, I want to take this line. So she's not as loyal, she's a very tough lady. So that one puts some question marks on somebody accepting to work with her. And she looks like somebody who can be also ambitious going forward, you know. And we know the risk of having a deputy who is ambitious. Let's go to Peter Kenneth. She comes from the Votrick region. She's been very loyal. Funds-wise, she can bring in something, including even the Mount Kenya Foundation can support him. You know, he's kind of the favorite of the Mount Kenya Foundation. The image that he brings is also very youthful. In Azimio side, can also attract a certain group of people. But the loyalty test is not fully. He can be loyal, but also given the fact that he has ambitions of becoming president, that can affect his test of loyalty. Because he would like to take that position and start building a step for him to rise and now start vying for the presidency. And that will not be a problem for somebody like Raila Odinga, because for him, after he has even done one term, he'll be just okay. But there's a reason why I'm putting him with a question mark. His ambition, for him and Martha, those two have question mark because of a certain reason, which I'm going to give. If you go to Taru's, you know, I'm just trying to mention the names of those who went for the interview of Azimio. Taru's, we can put him out because he doesn't bring any vote. The courage in the votes have been locked. Even if the image is good, loyalty is good, but we can just put him out. Because if we were just looking for a deputy president of Kenya, he would fit the bill. But we are looking for a running mate. And I've just explained to you what a running mate means, what you have to bring. But if we reach a level in this country where we just look for a proper person for the job, he would have been just okay. Let's take Ngilu again, for example. If you take Ngilu, she doesn't quite control the Kamba vote. Wherever Kalonzo goes, can outsmart her. You know? She's loyal. Her image is also okay. Look at Oparanya. He's loyal, though ambitious. Image is not bad. Votes, Western region, but that region is already perceived to be Azimio zone, so it doesn't really fit him. That does not become one of his values. know, because Azimio is already have been seen as strong in that region. But also the fact that he comes from ODM, and ODM has already produced a presidential candidate, that one will just put him out. And on that note, let's just put also Hassan Joho out, because Hassan Joho also comes from ODM. ODM cannot produce the running mate and also the presidential candidate. So even if Hassan Joho is loyal and everything else, but they are out. And that leaves us with Peter Munya. But Peter Munya is also out because even though he went for the interview, he is a serving cabinet minister or a cabinet secretary. And the time for resigning is already up. So he's already out also. There was also Lee Kinyanjui who went to the interview, I think so. But Lee Kinyanjui, he's running for governor in Nakuru. And he's like the preferred Azimio candidate in Nakuru. Picking him to come now and deputize the presidential candidate in Azimio will mean that now you are giving up that position in Nakuru for somebody else, which Azimio do not want. They want to get as many numbers as possible in these elective positions. So that one also means Lee Kinyanjui will not be the deputy in this case. Let him go and defend his seat. Now there's Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka fits as a running mate. If you look at the image, the votes that he'll bring, leave alone funds, because maybe there's not too much funds, but he can attract funders and donors to Azimio. Where there's a big problem now is loyalty. Kalonzo in the recent past has shown that he's too ambitious and he is not going to be loyal to the presidential candidate. And even of late, even the chemistry has not been working between them. And he's on record saying that if he becomes the president, the deputy president, the day that the president will be sworn in, tomorrow he'll start campaigning. He has already been on record saying things like that, you know. And his supporters are so vocal and so careless with words, the way they speak. And I don't think if there's a presidential candidate that would like a person like that, because he's coming out to be somebody who is not very principled, who can say something and stand by it, you know. So that can put him at a very bad position to be chosen. And it's very unlikely that he's going to be chosen. I just want to put him out. In Azimio, he's not going to get that position. So in Azimio, we just have three people: Peter Kenneth, Sabina Chege, and Martha Karua. These are the three people that the running mate is going to come from. But don't forget that in all this running mate thing, President Uhuru Kenyatta's hand must also be inside. Don't forget that factor. We should not forget. First of all, we should know that Azimio is a coalition where there are several over 25 political parties. So once you have one political party producing the presidential candidate, you have to give also another chance to the others. And the seconds, there are only two other senior or strong parties: Wiper and Jubilee. You know? And I tend to believe or think that Jubilee is going to produce the running mate, now that Wiper has failed the test of loyalty. And President Kenyatta sent the name of Peter Kenneth and Sabina Chege. Those were the names that were presented by Jubilee. And President Kenyatta, from the look of things, he is not ready to retire peacefully and just go home. He wants to remain relevant, and he wants to remain the kingpin of the Mount Kenya region. You know, that's why even in the recent, you saw that Azimio top decision-making body that was formed, the council, the Azimio top council. The president is the chairperson of that, with the Raila Odinga being the party leader. So that tells you that the president wants to still remain powerful and relevant. Because if he was going to retire, he would have left that position for somebody else. Because you can imagine after the elections, and let's say Raila Odinga becomes the president. So after the election, when that meeting is called, the president will be there as the chairperson. President Uhuru will be there as the chairperson. And now the then president, Raila, will be there in the meeting, sitting on the side as the party leader. And the deputy president, let's say Sabina Chege, is also in the meeting, sitting on the side. You know? So it means that the president still wants to have a very influential position in that Azimio party, because he still has some ambitions. So his hand is still in this, in the choice of the running mate. And he will try to bring somebody who has less influence in the larger Mount Kenya region. He will try to bring somebody who is less ambitious coming from the Mount Kenya region. And that means he will not pick Peter Kenneth. Because when you pick Peter Kenneth to become the running mate, it will be like an endorsement. It will be like somebody being groomed to take over the leadership of Mount Kenya. And the president is not ready for somebody to take over. You know? So he will try to look for somebody who is less ambitious and somebody who can be able to listen to him. And that's why I'm putting Sabina Chege as the most preferred deputy president that the president is going to propose to Raila Odinga. Yeah. The president is going to propose Sabina Chege to become the running mate. And that will just influence who becomes the deputy president. Because I think there was an agreement, I just guess there could have been an agreement between Raila and President Uhuru on who should become, that you become the president, I'll give you the running mate. And whoever he brings, Raila will not have any option but to accept. That's why I strongly believe that it's going to be Sabina Chege. But add the name of Martha Karua there. So we are left with the two. Martha Karua and Sabina Chege. But Sabina Chege is far ahead of Martha, because Martha is so ambitious and will also try to outshine the President Kenyatta in Mount Kenya if he becomes the deputy president. And the question of loyalty, he usually has some very radical positions, and he's not always willing to back down. So that can work against him, against her. So that leaves Sabina Chege a bit high, on the higher side. So it's Sabina Chege number 1, then Martha number 2. Let's just remove Peter Kenneth from the picture. even though he's been very loyal. On the deputy president's side, it is very easy, because for him, he has tamed his followers that he can just choose anybody he likes. But we saw him bar Professor Kithure Kindiki from running. You know, Professor Kithure Kindiki had indicated that he wanted to become the governor of Meru. But he barred him. He asked him to step down and not run. And even on that occasion, he asked the crowd there that, should I take Kithure to help me in the national politics? And the crowd responded, yes. That was a very clear sign that that's a potential running mate. Let's go to Justin Muturi. He's also a potential running mate, coming from the Voterich region, and he's also being that he's now even the third in command in the country. That can also up his chances. Let's go to Musalia Mudavadi. Musalia Mudavadi also has a lot of chances, but only when there's a card to be played. If there's no card, he's out. Let's look at Alice Wahome. His name has been thrown all around. It would have been good, but now you see she has already been given a ticket to run for Kandara. I don't think she can now be again withdrawn to come and become the deputy, because the deputy president also wants to get numbers in parliament. So those strong candidates, he cannot now withdraw them to become his running mate. And that also applies to Ndindi Nyoro, Gachagua. Those names have been thrown in, but they are out because they've already been cleared to run for those MP positions. And because they want numbers in parliament, they cannot remove those strong candidates to come and deputize, and then they risk losing those seats. And that leaves us with now, we are just done. We are just left with Kithure Kindiki and Justin Muturi. Those are the most likely candidates there. And we can give Kithure Kindiki an upper hand, because first of all, it is the deputy president who stopped him from running for governor, and also that question that he asked the crowd there. But also followed closely with Muturi. These two people will become, one of them will become Ruto's running mate in normal circumstances. But when there's a card to be played, Musalia can become a running mate, and even Kalonzo can become a running mate for deputy president. Just in case he is not announced as Azimio's running mate, they can snatch him and make him a running mate on this side. Those things that they sign with the registrar, even if his party is on the side of Azimio, there's no problem. This is Kenya. His party has just remained there, and he's on this side with these people. And after the expiry of 6 months, they now sign another agreement with Kenya Kwanza. That's how it can happen. Yeah. So I just want to end this video by mentioning that it is going to be Sabina Chege as deputy for Azimio, and Kithure Kindiki for the deputy president. And before I leave, let me just say finally, look at the options that Kalonzo has. Suppose he's not chosen to become Azimio's running mate. What are his options? You know? Number one, he can join Ruto, that I've already mentioned. That is a very big possibility. And I've also heard people saying that he can run as independent, because his party is already in that Azimio deal, so he can't take that party back, but he can run as an independent, which is very unlikely, because unless he's already prepared with the running mate immediately, he can declare to run as an independent and also present his running mate on that very same Monday. And that is very possible. Even right now, we can be talking and he's working on a running mate in readiness if he's not chosen. If he's not chosen, maybe he's preparing a running mate, so that when he's not chosen, he also just chooses a running mate immediately and he will run an independent. I don't know, I've also heard that independent candidates are presenting their have a deadline, but I think for presidential it's not yet. The deadline is still not yet over. So it's a very unlikely option for him also to run for president if he's not chosen. But it's very unlikely. The likely one is for him joining Ruto, and the most likely now is just for him to stay in Azimio. That is the most likely scenario for him. He can just say that, okay, it has happened like that, but I still remain in Azimio, and hit the ground to campaign for Azimio. Stop this thing that they are usually saying, if I don't get, I will, so and so will win. He can swallow those words and now hit the ground and campaign for Azimio sincerely. So those are the options that he has, now that I know he's not going to be the deputy president. Well, until we meet in the next video, subscribe. God bless you. Thank you so much.